Hey, welcome back, folks. This is Buddy Lee with Last Place Productions, and we are back here today with a little modification to the 50. That thing's been smoking the clutch and straight up puking out coolant like in clouds vapor form when we were going on a trail ride that we went on last week. So, looking around, I kind of came up with my own version of how to kind of keep this thing cooler. And racing, not so much, but definitely for trail rides. Even with the IPR triple gripper clutch, we were still puking crazy amounts of coolant and was not good for the clutch. The fluid smelled horrible. So, we're going to get into what I did here. So, I was looking around the internet, and the consensus seemed to be this particular fan off of Amazon. Fits on the radiator, seems to flow enough, and that seems to be the consensus. Then also you go with a 3-cell battery. I went with LiPo. We'll see if I regret that. And I went with a Traxxas style battery with the TRX style connectors. So essentially what I did was, a lot of people just plug it in, but I wanted to have ease of use and you could turn it off when it's not needed. So I went with, I couldn't for the life of me find anywhere locally in the area that I live, anywhere that had in stock a handlebar mounted switch. So what I did was, since I was already replacing the switch on my son's TTR, I used this housing and kind of milled it out in order to accept just a regular standard rocker switch that I was able to find anywhere. So if you see, the bodies are the same here. Now I think I'm going to fill in the corners with silicone just so while I'm washing the dirt bike, it doesn't get a bunch of water in there. But yeah, essentially I just used this style. You can see it as the clamps are on the back. Obviously this being a 50 with guards and all that, taking up a lot of real estate on the typical spot that you would put a switch. Right here was our next best option. So that's what I decided to go with. So essentially from the battery connector, I ran the negative straight to the fan here, but I ran the positive up through the switch and then back in and then tied it into the positive on the fan here. So that's kind of how all that was achieved. I think all said and done, I maybe have $100 in the setup, probably less. I bought a bunch of stuff I ended up not needing, just trying to figure it out. But yeah, that's kind of what I did. And then I had some existing straps from one of my RC rock crawlers, because a lot of people just they permanently mount the battery with zip ties, and I kind of wanted the ability to move it on and off without having to have a zip tie every time. So this is a 1400 milliamp battery, and per the math, I believe, if I remember correctly, this thing pulls 0.33 amps. So essentially I'm going to get like 3 hours of runtime per battery charge, and I'm going to recharge it every time before we go just to have it. But it'll last longer than the tank of gas on this thing will. So hopefully we'll get some better results and not smoke the clutch quite, or not get the bike quite as hot. And obviously a lot of it's the way my son rides the bike. He's kind of new to the bike and isn't riding it how it needs to be ridden to not make the clutch hot. So we're also simultaneously working on that in order to not have that be an issue, and hopefully we can save the clutch a little bit. And in the stator, I hear when you get these things hot a lot, the stators go out. So that was kind of my solution. I'm about to throw the tank back on just so we can kind of see how this all fits. I kind of fit the fan on before I took the tank off to make sure it fits where it needs to. And we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, it's pretty low key. Couldn't put it on both sides, which is kind of what I wanted to try, but it would kind of interfere with this hose right here on the other side. So I just didn't bother doing that. We'll take it out, test it with this, kind of see how it does, and then kind of go from there. So I'll show you guys how it is all assembled, and we'll go from there. All right, so here we got our little finished product here. Turn the bike. Wires don't pop out, get you into any funny situations. Turn it on. She turns right on. Working splendidly. I love it. So yeah, that's kind of how I did it. There's other versions out there. I didn't invent the wheel or anything like that. Just kind of did my own version of it with my engineering background and kind of how I think it would work best on this bike. Ideally, I would have loved to have it closer here, but then we wouldn't have the guards. And for the off-road racing we do, we really want the guards. So, and unfortunately, with this T-Rex throttle housing, this thing takes up all the room in the world, which isn't ideal either. But you know, I mean, it is an absolutely durable unit. You're not really going to break one of these. This is billet aluminum. It's pretty tough. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I came up with, and maybe I'll make some changes at some point. But I think for now, I'm happy with it. We'll run it on race day and see what happens from there. But yeah, that's kind of how it came to be, and see what the results are. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or, you know, about how I did it and whatever, leave it in the comments. Let me know if you think there's something I could have done better. I've seen other people that put like a little metal plate on the backbone of the frame, which I don't really like. I'd rather have something on the controls kind of tucked out the way. But if you have any better suggestions on how to achieve what I've done here, definitely put it in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you boys on the next one.